Well, the weekend is over, but that doesn't mean we ended right there. So that means we're going to do some two reviews for all of you. We got the latest ChocoPro 262, and of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling's latest Battle Atom with Day 3. As you know, to continue on with more of the IWGP World Television Title Tournament, and of course, we'll find out who will advance. And also, we got some interesting news updates, and I'm willing to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with ChocoPro 262. Opened up with a three-way match. We got Chonshiru versus Sayaka Obihiro versus um, Kushimito Kamen. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, he looks more like a bit of a clown that carries a lot of candy around him. Last time I saw him, he had to deal with Mei Shiruga, who was trying to take his snacks. You know, that's always been the case. But, however, this match was very interesting. However, I don't think Chonchiro likes this guy, Kamen, being around. But he was the most aggressive one out of all three of them to pick up the win. He was able to put Sayako Bihiro down with the shoulders right on top of her in order to pick up the win. 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next match, we got singles match. These two ladies are part of the fourth generation of the Got to Move Yoshi girls, Sayuri, and of course Chiko Shikawa. Now this match was requested the day before on 261 by Sayuri. Um, these two ladies have trained together, they worked together, they came up together as part of the fourth generation girls, along with Tokiko and Sayaka, without the Rin and of course Lulu, they're no longer around. But it was a bit of more of a situation where who's gonna up one the other. Now these two are not afraid to try to go up against each other. Sarui this is not the best wrestler, but she has been one of the most well talked about wrestlers in Got to Move. Not to mention she made her biggest surprise being at the New Blood by Stardom, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But however, it was Chi with the ability of her not only high speed away, but however she was able to put Sayuri in a submission. If you guys ever seen Desperado, how he puts the dos on them, you know that submission where he has his leg and he cranks it. Well, Chi did the same thing in a similar situation with Sayuri, but Sayuri had no other choice but to tap out. Next up, we got Shin Suzuki teaming up with Hagane Shino. They take on, of course, our current champions, Masahiro Takanashi, who is one half of the Asian Dream Tag Team Champions with Chris Brooks, who's not there at the moment, but he teams up with the Super Asian Champion, Balian Aki. So, but you can tell by in this type of fashion, last time Shin Suzuki was able to try to challenge Balian Aki for the title, but it was no luck. But in this particular case, this was a much intense match that you probably wouldn't expect, but it was Balian Aki once again one up on Shin Suzuki when he did a big splash off the window. 1, 2, 3, it was over. So it gave them the opportunity. Now for a jockey tournament, I didn't know who it is, but however, Balinaki, he's lately sucking at jockey tournament. I would have assumed that Chi would have been making to the finals, but did not. It was Masahiro Takanashi who walked out as the victor, winning the piece of chocolate. So I don't know how many times he has won it, but yeah, that's practically what took place. So I think that's pretty much it with our ChocoPro. So I believe it's time for our last review, Battle Autumn by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, day 3 of Battle Autumn by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Open up with tag team action. We have the Young Lions taking up first, Kosei Fujita and Ryo Rohi Oiwa taking on GBH, Great Battle Heels, Tomoka Akihamna, and Togi Makabe. Now, you probably would have assumed, yes, GBH won by it, but it always ends with, of course, one signature move that only the Young Lions are allowed to use is the Boston Crab. This time it was Makabe who did it on Oiwa, forcing him to tap out. So that's how it ended. Next up, we got the United Empire, consistent of that weasel Gideon Gray, Jeff Cobb, and Great Khan taking on Chaos's Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, and of course, Tomohiro Ishii. Now, this is one of those matches where you know there's going to be a bit of a big dude versus big dude. We already seen that with, of course, Tomohiro Ishii and Jeff Cobb. But however, in this particular match, um, I'm sure Jeff Cobb hasn't forgotten the way he lost his match against Yoshihashi. But this time, Jeff Cobb did not lose. Yoshihashi picked up the win by applying the butterfly effect onto Gideon Gray, who has been on the losing streak. I don't know why in the hell he's in United Empire. He runs a Legion. Next up, we got, of course, God, Hikuleo, and Yado teaming up with Yoshihiro Tenzan and, of course, Ryusuke Taguchi to take on all members of the House of Torture. As always, we've seen these type of matches with House of Torture when it comes to trying to distract the referee. Either you have Dick Togo with that garrote, try to choke out the opponent, or we see freaking Show with the wrench. But this time it was Togo who did it. Nothing would have worked, but however, it was in fact a Tenzan who suffered his fate by ending up on the everything is evil move by evil 1 2 3. It was over. But of course, House of Torture are telling Hikuleo and Taguchi that they will not give them their title shot, but however, they do have that opportunity if the matchmakers make it happen. Next up, we got members of Suzuki-gun consistent of Taka Michinoku, Doiki, Yoshinori Kanemaru, El Desperado, and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Master Wato, Ren Narita, Alex Zane, Tiger Mask, and David Finlay. Now, this was a good match. I think it was pretty interesting because, as you know, in the next round of the IWGP World Television title, we have David Finlay versus Zack Sabre Jr. They're definitely going to be trying to collide in some point, giving them a bit of how do I say, um, a preview towards that. But however, as Alex Zane, who's been very impressive, he was able to pick up the win with the cinnamon twist onto Taka Michinoku, giving him in the win. So I thought not bad win for Alex Zane. I'm a big fan of Alex Zane. Next up, we got members of LIJ, Hiromu Takahashi and Shingo Takagi taking on Bullet Club's Geto and Taiji Shimura. Now keep in mind, Taiji Shimura put himself in a very delicate situation, facing not only one but 3 other people involved. And one of them is Hiromu Takahashi. But in this case, it was Geto who ended up on the wrong side of the pumping bomber by Shingo Takagi. Now, we know he has his hands full later on this month against El Fantasma in New York City, but we'll see what takes place then. Now, our next match, we have the other members of LIJ, Titan, Bushi, and Tetsuya Naito taking on the other members of United Empire. We're consistent of Aaron Hinare, Francesco Akira, and TJP. Now, keep in mind, Titan and and Bushi do have an opportunity to challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, but this match was amazing. Now, Francesco Akira, as you know, he cannot stand the fact that Titan is here, causing all this stir and, of course, this momentum that everybody expected. But this time, it was, of course, a great combination of teamwork between Bushi and, of course, Titan giving them the win with the El Inmortal finishing off TJP. However, in the post match, everybody spoke different languages. Of course, we got TJP who speaks English, Francesco who speaks Italian, we got a Titan who's Spanish, and of course Japanese by Bushi. So they issued the challenge for the tag titles, and of course they accepted. However, apparently TJP believes that they're confident enough they will retain these titles, but anything could change from here on out. Now, our last two matches we have is the IWGP World Television title. We have, of course, Kenta versus Hiroki Goto. This was going to be one of those tough matches where we know what Hiroki Goto is capable of. We know he's the strongest person on the planet. We know he can do all this stuff. But however, Kenta, he's a much dangerous individual as a striker. That was makes him one of the most dangerous competitors in New Japan. But in this case, it was, of course, Kenta with the GTS, the finish off Hiroki Goto, facing advancing. But however, his opponent is going to be either Taichi or Sanada. Taichi showed up with his lucky charm, Miho Abe, taking out Sanada. Now, these two have fought time and time again. Like, they have, like, deep respect for each other. But, of course, only one has to walk out. Now, many people might have been rooting for, of course, Taichi, but I think these two were evenly matched. So sooner or later, one of them has to be the one to win. But it was Taichi Sanada who picked up the win with the bridge. It failed him once, but a second try, it allowed him to pick up the win on Taichi. So I thought it was great. However, down in the post match, he did Taichi show some respect for Sanada, and of course, he took his frustrations out on Kawada. Now I don't know who this guy is. They mentioned him on the social media, but we'll see what happens then. And of course, as always, Sanada always throws in a very impressive promo where he has the lights dim, people use their cell phones, the lights. I thought it was great seeing that as always. So it was a pretty good show. I loved it. Can't wait to see what other things are going to take place at the Battle Autumn Tour. But right now, let's move on with our final thing, news updates. Okay, news updates. Now, as you know, AAA had their latest event, Triple Mania. There was comments about Konnan asking that he sent a message that's had in talks with Kenny Omega, asking him to send a video message to Hijo de Vecino. As you know, Kenny does have an opportunity for a somewhat of a rematch of sorts. But however, Konnan mentioned that Kenny is unable to do it due to legal reasons. As you know, he's still suspended due to the fact of the altercation that took place after the media scrum in All Out. So that's probably the reason. We know he'll be considering getting back the AAA Mega Championship, so we'll find out when that date takes place. Now, interesting developments have come in regarding with Tony Khan. As you know, he's the owner of both AEW and Ring of Honor. He pitched this interesting idea for an AEW all women's Ring of Honor weekly TV programs to Warner Media. I'm like, having an all women's show, I have to say I liked it because, as you know, it's very interesting to see things like that. Now, recently, right now, we're seeing, if you guys know this, women of wrestling, they're not doing so well right now. From reports are saying, I'm not sure if it's 100% true or not, but I've seen some good talent in there. But I wouldn't mind seeing an all women weekly show, and also same thing with Ring of Honor. So it's probably still in the works. So can't wait to see that. Now our next update. Once again, we're getting another wrestler being forced to retire due to doctors, and this time is coming from Pro Wrestling Noah's very own NOSAWA Rongai. Now, Rongai announced that he's going to retire by February, so apparently Noah is going to be reducing his matches all the way from there. It's still unclear where. The reason behind of his forced retirement was because his body condition, basically of all the injuries he obtained over the years. I mean, I know it can take a toll on him, but that's how it is. There is the possibility he could end his career in the Tokyo Dome at the same time as Keiji Muto, so we'll see what happens then. And finally, our last update, we want to pay our condolences to the entire Garza family. Um, Humberto Garcia, who is the grandfather of WWE superstars Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, the grandfather, just passed away. No further details on his passing. I remember how much they talked about their grandfather and all this, but a very sad day, not only in the world of lucha libre, but also for wrestlers who followed them. So yeah, so condolences to the entire Garza family, and I think that's pretty much it what we have. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got AEW Dark Elevation. As you know, haven't decided what I'm gonna watch, but I'm considering watching New Japan for the Royal Crest for night 1 and night 2. I haven't considered that yet, but it's also on the table. And also Triple Mania, which took place recently. I'm excited for that too. Still waiting for Stardom's recent events that took place uh, the weekend before and the last and this week and possibly this weekend. But we'll see what happens then. Right now, let's just say I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.